Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the EPL-104-AL. Patio Door Lock is what this is. Very common door lock that is used in sliding applications. Something is sliding, I suppose, and this would be a very typical and common lock that is used for that. And I have one removed from the packaging, so let's take a look at the components. We'll take a visual tour of what you get first, and then we will take some dimensions along the way. There's the lock body, obviously. The image shown in the catalog shows two holes, meaning that you can... It's obvious. It may not be obvious what they're showing, at least it isn't to me initially, but those two holes are meant so that you can ventilate, meaning you can slide that door open a little bit and then stick the bolt into the second hole. It's just called a ventilating position, at least in window hardware. Ives used to make a ventilating sash lock, a couple of things that looked like a thimble that would rotate over an L-shaped guide track so that you would install that on your sash. And the window would go up and down until you threw the thimbles out, and then the window would only go up so far. So same sort of concept. Overall width of the base, about 1 3/4 inches. Overall depth, I suppose, of the body, it's about 1 3/8 inches. The projection, or the height of the body itself, looks like it's about 7/8. Projection of the bolt itself looks like it's about 1 inch, maybe 1 1/16. I also want to put a caliper on the bolt. It is 0.371 inch, 0.371, so almost 7/8. You're going to get a couple of keys, is the bottom line. That's going to allow you to unlock, pull that key out, and just pushing it back in, depressing the cylinder assembly, will relock that bolt. You're going to get a couple of strikes here. If you were doing an application where, let's say you were going to mount this in a sliding application where you need, well, a rim, this is what would be called a rim strike. So if you were going to mount this to a jamb and you needed the lock to work in this sort of fashion, obviously unlocked it would move, however you're going to do it if you needed a rim lock. A rim application where the body is mounted on the perimeter of the door or whatever you're attaching it to, and you need that strike to hang off. So it would be more like an application in the factory's image. They're showing it on the door that is set to the outside. Well, if you were putting this on the door set to the inside, if you follow along, you could slap this to the top of the door. So it's on the top of the door and it slides like this. Well, the header is right here, the casing is right here, and you can't drill into the edge of the casing for this. So you'd get that plate up onto the underside of the header, and that's how that would work. So this would be like when the door is biased towards the inside. If you had the application that they're showing you where you're locking the door biased on the outside, you'd then just have this little, what we would call a thimble strike. That's how that would work. You're going to get screws for everything. You've got more screws here than you need. This package has 4 screws and 6 screws. You only need a total of 4, so there's a couple of extras. That shouldn't be the case where they're sending extras. This will include a couple of keys. That is stamped 671 is what that's, yeah, 671. The key that is in the next package is 617. And what that means is this. These locks are available, only keyed differently. The factory is not, unfortunately, going to entertain, hey, can you give me 3 of them that are just keyed alike? What they have, and I don't have the box on my desk, but they have a skid or skids of these master cartons of 10 each. They are not tearing those open to select out the key numbers, unfortunately. It's not available keyed alike. It can't be done now. The factory has told me multiple times, yeah, sure, a locksmith should be able to rekey that. 2 problems with that concept. I've never tried to get this cylinder out. It obviously comes out because it went in. So I don't have any knowledge of taking this cylinder apart, nor do I have knowledge of what that keyway milling would be. I don't know what key blank I could order. The factory won't sell us key blanks. And the reason I say this is because it's a common question. The short answer at this time is that it's only available keyed differently. Okay, let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at all of the supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, here's the item that we are looking at. And what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at the item, and let's take a look at some photographs first. There's the packaging. There's the back side. We have the installation instructions, and I'll show them to you. That's what's in the box. And by the way, I had said those codes earlier, 671, 617. That is very likely what's called a direct code, which means the 6 is this cut. Actually, I'm going to go with an indirect code, meaning I don't know. Let me start over. This code probably has no bearing as to the physical cuts on this key, like it would on other keys. This is what would be called an indirect code, where there's some manual that you'd have to reference to know how to cut that key, which would be typical for automotive. They're not going to put they're not going to tell you what dimensional requirements on the key are there for you to duplicate it if you got your hands on a blank. So anyway, lock body, keys, fastener, and strike package. There's your body. Now there's a little teat here. Why is that? That is not an artifact or a remnant of the manufacturing process. That is so that when you get this installed and your door's in place, you can push the bolt against whatever you're going to put the strike to, if it's this application, and it will mark a hole at your center line, and in fact exactly in the center where you'll need to drill. Okay. Speaking of drill, well, we'll see if it's on the installation instructions. There's another image, side view, obviously. The cylinder. This is a wafer tumbler lock. There are flat pieces of steel in there that have differing internal cuts. And the depth of those, or the height of those cuts directly relate to the cuts on the key. This won't be a video on wafer cylinder technology, but wafer tumblers are one of the primary types of tumbler technology versus pin tumbler and lever tumbler. The key installed, the bolt retracted. There's another view. Your strikes and your screw package. Like I said, there's too many screws here. Okay, now this is a great image. This is showing us your 4 different ways to install it. You know, on the stationary door, left or right, on the sill or the header, left or right, but they're not showing you anywhere where you would use that rim strike. Where you could use that rim strike could be in a side view type of sense, where this door is going to move. Then you're going to have the other door over here. That'll be stationary, and this door comes towards us and away from us. Well, you've got the header up here. You're going to install that lock body basically here. Well, that rim strike is going to go in here. That's where you could use that. They're not showing anywhere where that rim strike is shown, but that's where you would use that. Extended description information, keyed differently. They're always keyed differently, 2 keys. Sizing, inside and outside sliding doors. That's because they've got 2 different strikes. And this is in the aluminum finish. Prices per each. There's 10 in a box. When you buy one, we're going to ship you one at that price. Installation instructions are here. You can bring that up. Using the illustrations as possible locations on where you may choose to install the lock, pick the location that best suits your door and needs. Close the sliding door tight. With the locking bolt in the unlocked position, place the lock in the desired installation location with a 1/16 of an inch clearance between the end of the bolt and the location of where the hole will be drilled. Mark the screw holes and drill an 1/8 of an inch hole to install the screw. So the lock body will be attached first. Close the door tight and extend the lock bolt, marking the hole location. Then you'll drill a 9/32 hole for the lock bolt, and then increase that size to 3/8 if needed. And that would be a reference to that thimble strike. And I'm going to tell you the ID of the thimble strike. Yeah, that the ID, well, pardon me, you're probably going to drill a 17/32 diameter hole for this strike, and what I mean is 17/32, about 0.53. If you're going to install this, the outside from here to over here is about 0.51. The OD of the head of that little turned over flange, that's going to be 0.618. So almost 5/8 from here to here, so don't over drill that. And the overall height of that is about 0.36. So just shy on 3/8 is the dimension from the top of this down to the bottom. Be careful, don't drill into embedded glass. And what they're saying is, you don't know how far down that glass is going to come down. It shouldn't go very far, but be mindful. Don't drill any deeper than necessary. In terms of a depth, you shouldn't really have to drill any more than 7/16. What you'll do is measure 7/16 on your drill bit for the shank, for the flat part, and then put a piece of masking tape around the circumference of the drill bit to know when to stop drilling. Then you can ventilate. You may add another hole with the door open a few inches for ventilation. Now, there's a link below this video, as seen here, to the manufacturer's page, where you can pull up not only all of the Pro Lok items that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, as seen here, but also a link to the product catalog and their entry armor catalog. This product catalog does not have this lock in it. This is their locksmithing tools. And if you know the name Pro Lok at all, you do for their Blue Punch. Every locksmith likely owns at least one Blue Punch. I own two. One for Schlage, the other for small format A2 systems. And this video is not going to go into locksmithing tools. But the entry armor catalog is here. You fire that up, and we're going to do a Control F on your keyboard for EL-104. And there it is, along with all of the other safety hardware that is here. If you've ever heard of the name MAG or MAG Security, much of the Pro Lok much of the Pro Lok line should mate up pretty well. Not identical in all instances, but this EPL 104, that is going to be a direct replacement for the 8749 by MAG. Okay, there it is. Good catalog for you to scroll through if you're looking for other random security hardware. And at some point in everyone's life, I think, at some point you end up looking for it. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, in conclusion, Pro Lok, decent quality company, nice people over there. There's one gentleman who works with us all the time. Simple, straightforward, no nonsense. Send a PO. Here's a tracking number. Thank you very much. So there you go. I wouldn't hesitate to consider their products. You don't, in my experience, and we don't deal with window hardware as much as we do just commercial door hardware. There's not a lot of options in the marketplace for this type of residential security hardware, which can be used in commercial applications as well, no doubt. And if you have, my point of this is if you have more than an occasional need, maybe bookmark that catalog, because it's very likely that, well, that's not exactly what I had, because what you had is 50 years old, but that ought to work. And the Pro Lok catalog, their entry armor catalog, is good for that material. Any questions on the EPL 104 or any other Pro Lok product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.